Hello, friends. Welcome back. Coming at you in Sunday afternoon. Actually, Monday afternoon. Bit of a dreary Monday afternoon, but it was a beautiful Sunday morning yesterday. I'm about to get right into it, but we will be recapping Saturday's fights. UFC Vegas 94, aka UFC Fight Night. Lemos versus Jandiroba. It was a bizarre card. I almost said mids. It actually wasn't too bad. It was decent enough, but it was so bizarre, man. And that's aside from me getting burned on over half my picks pretty much because, Jesus, man, like the main card I got rocked bad. And it didn't really start off well either. If you're wondering who we're smoking on, we're really smoking on me and all my picks. The only thing I can be happy about showing you is my new Regions Storm Lighter. Little squeeze lighter from the 1940s. Don't want to set my poncho on fire. Without further ado, Muhammad Usman versus Thomas the Train Peterson, man. Now, Mo Usman I was never fooled. You know, I never thought Mo Usman was like something real special, you know, akin to his brother. Not at all. I just thought he was decent enough to win fights against extremely low-level competition. Granted, to Thomas Peterson's credit, Thomas Peterson ended up winning this fight by decision. I had Mo Usman winning by decision. Thomas Peterson made a lot of improvements from his last fight versus Jamal Pogues, where I picked Jamal Pogues to beat him. He fought like a dirty rat bastard, the dirty rat bastard being Thomas Peterson. But I think that fighting a bit more of a cleaner technical boxer in Jamal Pogues, who can stop brute force takedowns, was really good. Thomas Peterson did look notably improved from his last fight. Again, he's nothing special himself. Just got to give the man the credit where credit is due. Mo Usman, before the fight even started, if you watch my... Goddamn, getting especially smoky. Before the fight even started in my live reaction short, I could see Kamaru telling Mo looked like really, really nervous, really, really anxious before the fight even started, right when the ref was checking him in beforehand. And Kamaru was in Mo's ear telling him to relax. He was like, relax, calm down, you got this. And I've seen Mo fight before. I've seen Kamaru walk out with him, but I actually really hadn't ever seen something like that where he was like, you need to relax, like, please calm down. Like, and Mo looked scared like that. He looked scared. And as soon as the fight started, it was kind of evident why. I think that for whatever reason, he thought that Thomas Peterson was going to knock him out, like, really bad, too. Every time Muhammad Usman would receive strikes, even if they glanced off of him, he would react so violently to them. Like, he would shoot his arms out in various directions. Sometimes it almost flailed. Like, he would shoot them out in, like, a star. Like, that, and that's just like that's like an instinct from people that don't know anything about striking, really. They put their hands out to stop the strike coming at them, to give them space and stop whatever's coming to hit them in the face. But Mo, bro, you've won professional fights in the UFC. It's just so mind-boggling to me, man. You know, every time Thomas Peterson would apply a little bit of pressure, Mo would basically instantly fold. He would he would move sometimes. You could tell he was moving out of fear sometimes because Mo would start moving his upper body and his footwork was literally uncoordinated. Like, he would start, like, stumbling and shit without taking any fire. Like, it was really bizarre, man. Hats off to Thomas Peterson for fighting a good fight and taking the fight to him. Thomas Peterson recognized multiple times throughout the fight. He was like, this guy has nothing for me other than, like, a lucky shot. Like, if I run through him, he's probably not going to stand his ground and fight back, and he was right. He was very right. What's funny is that on the numbers, apparently, I didn't check the official numbers, it seemed extremely close in the striking. And I thought that there's more of an argument for Mo just in terms of damage. It's also the fact that Thomas Peterson is pretty pasty white, but Thomas Peterson was wearing the damage a lot more evidently than Mo Usman. But in round 3, he was able to put on more damage in Mo than Mo did the entire fight. Mo left the fight bloodied nose, you know, he looked beaten. He looked beaten. It was tough, man, but hats off to Thomas Peterson. You know, I spent too much time on this one already. Challenged Chael at the end, gave a little Chael shout-out, call-out, I should say. That was funny. Congrats to Thomas Peterson, man. Moving on. The next fight on the card. And the prelims I didn't do as bad on, but the prelims were also worse than the main card, like, objectively, so take that as you will. Moving on to a women's flyweight bout. Luana Carolina versus Lucy Pudilova. I had Luana Carolina winning this one by decision. She did. But Lucy Pudilova actually did not look dog shit this time. She did not look straight dog shit. She always comes out with heart. You know, some of her striking actually did look decent. It really did look decent. But Dredd was able to do her thing, you know. And not only was she able to do her thing, but I feel like Luana Carolina found a lot of success in this fight by basically being able to start the fight with the kind of, like, slick counter-striking and devastating, like, straight punches that she usually finds later on in her bouts after she's already been in trouble and her opponent tires out a little bit. She was able to find that off-rip and get it going. She did get a little bit tired, but Luana Carolina was able to stay in there. Even through moments of danger type shit, she was able to stay in. Very nice work from Luana Carolina. That was a really good win. And it's funny, I'd said this in the prelims, like, as the prelims were rendering, the best fights from the prelims were from the ladies, for real. Like, that's going to be a super short recap, because that's basically what it was. Luana Carolina was just able to lead the dance on the feet, light up Lucy Pudilova from deep. That was pretty much it. Moving on to Loic Rajabov versus Trey Ogden, man. This was painful. This was the beginning of the pain. I had picked Loic Rajabov. I went up to make some food super quick because I thought I'd have time. I came back in the latter half of round one. Loic Rajabov was fucking fighting for his life. Fighting for his life with Trey Ogden on his back, man. Round ends pretty much that way. Trey Ogden in round two, a little bit more competitive for Loic, but there was danger, though. Danger. I actually might have missed round one entirely and came in through round two. I think round two is where it ended with Loic Rajabov fighting for his life, fighting off submission attempts from Trey Ogden. But either way, on the feet, Loic Rajabov, whenever he would throw and actually land something, Trey would actually get startled, and I thought that he had an opportunity. Loic had an opportunity to finish the fight. I was really concerned that Trey Ogden would basically fight the way that he does and find the success that would benefit him, and that success is that game plan, at least to me, what I think is Trey Ogden's most dangerous weapon. Many people would say this is the Warrior's most dangerous weapon, is his mind. It is his mind. He makes up for a lot of lackluster skills, not even lackluster, just any deficit that he has in skill with his opponent, with tactics and strategy, and it works very well. It is kind of nice to see. I was also concerned a little bit, and this is when we get into more of the, not supernatural, but esoteric things that would cause you to pick someone in a fight, things that influence picks. But Trey Ogden, you know, he runs his own gym, I'm pretty sure, and he trains a couple other UFC fighters. And I was like, you know, he's coming off of a win now, trying to get on a win streak for the first time in his career. He's leading the gym. He's going to want to lead the way. You know, he's going to be like, you know, I'm running this gym. Like, I got to win in the UFC to prove basically that I deserve to do this, that you guys should pay me money and I should train you guys. And I was concerned about that. I think there was a little bit of a factor. You know, Trey really didn't want to give up in that aspect. Not to say he would give up in any regard. But if you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. Congratulations to Trey Ogden, man. Good win on a nice little win streak right now. That's nice to see, bro. I take back what I said about Trey Ogden being, like, extremely difficult to finish on the feet. I actually don't think that's the case in the sense of, like, it's hard to finish, like, a Hyde or a Meal on the feet. Like, it's not because of his chin or anything. It's just because of it's more harder to hit him. Not because he's especially elusive either. It's really just that through whatever rhyme or reason, sometimes tanking shots and sometimes evading them, Trey Ogden is able to stay up in the UFC. Moving on, Miranda Maverick versus Dione the Witch Barbosa. I love that nickname, but I picked Miranda Maverick to win by decision. She won by decision. It was a really good fight, Some people were saying this fight was kind of a dog shit fight. I question what you thought about the card in its entirety. This fight was good. Miranda Maverick was just better. But Dione Barbosa came out like the witch, like a bat out of hell. She was trying to put Miranda Maverick away on the feet multiple times. There was one, I think, spooky guillotine attempt where you saw all the muscles in fucking Dione's body ripple and shit. It was craziness, man. But Miranda chilled out. She got out of that, and she pretty much just controlled the fight. It was a bit of a problem for her at first, like the size difference, even though there's not too much of a reach difference. Dione Barbosa was able to use a little bit of range and actually keep Miranda Maverick off of her a little bit, at least in round one. Miranda Maverick was able to actually adapt to that, and it was very nice to see, and was able to get in the pocket on Dione Barbosa, get off some striking, and also threaten with the grappling. Very nice work from Miranda Maverick. Moving on to Brian Boom Kelleher versus Cody Gibson. I picked Cody Gibson to win this one by decision. But he went out and got himself a first-round finish by submission. Very nice, man. And Cody Gibson looked... People might give me shit for saying that Cody Gibson looked phenomenal, but he did. It doesn't matter, like... Him looking phenomenal has... You could say it has something to do with the level of competition, but ultimately, like, he looked phenomenal against Brian Kelleher. You know, he looked very fast to me. Phenomenal is maybe giving him a little bit of extra credit, but he looked great. He looked very fast, very light on the feet. He attacked well. Some of those elbows, those inside elbows were devastating. Those entry elbows were insane. Like, I really liked that. Great work. Was able to find a submission, I think, with like around a minute left, maybe a minute and a half or under that. Good way to get yourself in the win column and get some respect back, really, because a lot of people were shitting on Cody Gibson completely, me included, after his last fight versus Miles Johns. I was just like, brother, I don't know what, I'll never back you in any fight that you have again. I found myself backing him in this one. He got it done in spectacular, decisive fashion. Congratulations, Cody Gibson. Thank you. Moving on to one of the most exciting and chaotic fights, but also one of the shortest fights on the card. Haider Emil versus Jung Young Lee. I thought this fight was going to end with someone getting knocked the fuck out. I just thought it was going to be Haider Emil, man. And it almost was. This is actually the start of the pain. I forgot to say this. This is when I got in the Twilight Zone. This is when I found myself in the Twilight Zone because... 2, 3... 4. The next 4 fights. Haider Emil up to Kurt Holobaugh versus Kanan Krachowski. All of those picks I got wrong. But not only that, all of the picks that I got wrong were winning their fights decisively or just winning, I think, objectively until they weren't and they got fucked up bad. Like, and it was painful to watch, man. It actually broke my spirit. I'm going to be completely honest. It broke my spirit. If you noticed, there weren't any more live reactions after Kurt Holobaugh versus Kanan Krachowski because I was just like, yeah, I've had enough. I actually don't even want to watch the rest. We'll get to my picks when we get to them, but pretty much what I thought was going to happen happened after that. Anyways, that was the little bit of logic that was left to be fucking found in this card. Jesus Christ. And that's what gave me even more pain because this card I really tried to refrain from any fucking emotional picks at all. At all. But if I went with some emotional picks, I would have got more right, ultimately. So fuck it. It's fucking painful, man. It is fucking painful, bro. Haider Emil versus Jung Young Lee. So what I had said about Haider Emil, right, in his last fight, I picked him to win his last fight too, but against Fernie Garcia, but it was actually way tougher than it should have been. Hence me picking Jung Young Lee. Haider Emil gets hurt off rip with some nasty hooks. There was one hook that literally rocked his fucking jaw and had his eyes rolling, like just from the force, not from like him being hurt because he was still there. Just like the force rolled his fucking eyes around like jelly. Like it was insanity. Haider Emil just consumes it though after about 7 seconds roughly of continuous fire, by the way. He recovers almost completely and then is able to catch Jung Young Lee in this hellfire. This exchange of hellfire that both dudes are sending at each other, man. And the first couple of punches, also something to note, Jung Young Lee, before he gets caught, but after he catches Haider Emil, there's like a second-long break in the action. And you can see the confidence instantly build in Jung Young Lee, and like it just fucking... I think he got a little cocky, and he was like, all right, now I'm about to knock this dude out. He was like, let me step in here and knock this dude the fuck out. He steps back in, misses a couple punches of his own, then gets rocked with like a brutal 2 or 3 piece combination. Stands him upright. He's like, ugh. Hyder Emil just fucking pressures him and lands an unholy... I know on YouTube, like the fucking ESPN clip or some shit said like 38 hit combo. That's whatever, I guess. That I don't know if it was a true 38 hit combo. Like it wasn't like some injustice shit, but it was an insane combination. He melted Jung Young Lee. He just straight up melted him. Straight up melted him, or Lee Jung Young, I should say. But either way, he fucking Hyder Emil absolutely demolished Jung Young Lee, and that was a really bad loss, to be honest with you. It was really bad. Phenomenal, spectacular. I hope that Hyder Emil got a bonus for that shit, but that's all there was to it. You know, that was the fastest fight of the night, I think, by far. Ended maybe like in like a minute and a half, something like that. I might be misremembering the time, but definitely within round 1. It was crazy, man. Spooky hours. Moving on. Doo Ho Choi, featherweight men's bout. Doo Ho Choi versus Billy Algeo, man. The second run of the pain, bro. Doo Ho Choi, I picked against him mainly because he has not only not won a fight in a fucking long period of time, approaching 10 years, not including Saturday, obviously, but he's also been inactive. And I was like, Bill Algeo, for better or for worse, is a somewhat deceptively good fighter. Like, some dudes have trouble with him that maybe you wouldn't expect to. He can get wins, you know. He's a dangerous dude somewhat. He can get finishes too, but Jesus Christ. He was winning the fight. I thought he won the first round. I thought he landed the better shots on Doo Ho Choi. But then, bro, Doo Ho Choi just starts catching him more and more. And there was one submission attempt, like a guillotine that Doo Ho Choi jumped for. It made Bill Algeo's face, it made his head look like it was about to pop. I know a lot of people will say that about guillotine attempts, but it really looked like it was about to pop. And Bill Algeo, like, the blood in his head never recovered. It never went away. Like, he looked like that for the rest of the fucking fight. He gets cracked with, like, an unholy overhand or some shit, and I guess it, like, broke something in his face. Like, maybe one of his, like, maybe his brow or, like, his orbital bone, something like that, because it was a delayed reaction where, like, he kind of went away, and he put a finger up, like, he, like, pointed kind of at Doo Ho Choi, almost as if he was like, you poked me in the eye or some shit, but that might have just been the chaos of the strike, because we've seen that happen before. Dudes get cracked squarely flush, legally, in the eye or around the eye, and then they're like, poke, like, you poked me, but Bill Algeo dropped, and Herb Dean actually called it off pretty much instantly after that, once he saw the reaction and kind of the covering up. That was a good stop. That was a good stop. And a good finish for Doo Ho Choi, but then I was just like, God damn it, man. Like, what just happened? What did I just watch? You know, the Hyder Emil versus Jung Young Lee, one fight, I can live with that. That's the fight game. Shit happens, you know. But the Doo Ho Choi shit, I was just like, oh, buddy, that one burned me too. That shit actually burned me a little bit, but nowhere near as bad as what happened next. Next one literally burned me, I'll be completely honest. I actually decided to throw just a few pennies, some might say some coins on fucking Cody Durden versus Bruno Silva. Especially because Cody Durden dropped to an even bigger underdog than he was. It was just rough. Cody Durden was whooping Bruno Silva's ass, I'll say that. Like, he was winning decisively. He was beating Bruno Silva everywhere. Until one exchange in the third round where, God, man, it's painful. I think it was like it was a long uppercut that hits Cody Durden just perfectly. Like, it was a textbook landing. It was a natural 20. My son Bruno Silva rolls the natural 20. Fucking sends Cody Durden's mouthpiece flying out of his mouth. Drops him with that. Follows up with like a good like 10 or 12 extra shots that just pound in his skull. And he didn't go... Cody Durden went out, but not eyes closed, like unconscious, like ragdolled. But he was fucked up. He fucked Cody Durden up real bad, man. And that was another painful loss because I'd say out of all of the two previous losses and even the fight after this one, which was Kurt Holobo versus Kenyon Krachewski, The Cody Durden one, he was winning in the most impressive and decisive fashion before he lost, for real. You could argue maybe Jung Young Lee, but it was ultimately one. That was just one sequence. Like, it really, and it was all a part of the same sequence ultimately. But Cody Durden was winning the entire fight up until that. Like, shit, that was so brutal, man. It was so brutal. It was a bad fucking knockout, bro. Feel for Cody Durden, man. I feel for Cody Durden. Fuck Tagir Ulanbekov. He's getting one. He'll always get one as long as Cody Durden's mentioned. Cody Durden looked great too. It's really a shame. He looked fantastic, you know, versus Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva was getting lit up on the feet. Was fighting for his life because Cody Durden put him in a seemingly unending chain of submissions that were brutal. They seemed tight and efficient, but respect to Bruno Silva, man, he survived, pulls off one of the biggest comeback knockouts of the year so far. Congratulations to him. What else can you say? I mean, he knocked Cody Durden the fuck out. I'm just coping. I'm coping hard about that, really. That shit fucked me up. I was just like, yo, I can't. I was like, I can't, man. I wasn't even thinking to myself, if Kanan Krzyzewski loses, like, I'm done. I was just like, I was almost done there. I was on the verge. I was on the fucking verge there. And I was like, let's see. Kanan Krzyzewski versus Kurt Holoba, right? I was like, Kurt Holoba is mid as a motherfucker and kind of washed. Kanan Krzyzewski is a nobody that people know as being knocked out by Yves Brenner. We're gonna just go with the nobody and hope for the best. That was the thought behind that pick on the channel. Versus someone that we know is washed. Somehow Kanan Krzyzewski looks slow and he fights like a fucking, he was fighting like a ball. He was fighting like Mo Usman. The ghost of fucking Mohammed Usman came back to haunt me. And he possessed Kanan Krzyzewski to fight in such a way. Kanan Krzyzewski all the way at the end. I also thought Kanan Krzyzewski, and this might be me coping, it might not be true in the slightest. I thought Kanan Krzyzewski won the third round, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of pissed, not pissed, but Kurt Holoba's son was screaming the entire fucking time, and I was just like, God damn it. For some reason, I felt like that was going to affect the judge's decision. I know that might be straight coping. You can have a laugh. You can laugh at me right now, but that's what I thought. Kanan Krzyzewski, I thought it was clearly 1-1 going into round 3. Kanan Krzyzewski fucking falls off of top somehow. Like, more than halfway through the round after controlling the round previous, like, before then. Kurt Holoba just rides it out until the end, you know, with a little bit of action here and there. And he gets the nod. Kurt Holoba gets the decision in front of his friends and family, loved one. Had a lot of people there. Good for him. Good for him. Like, shit's fucked up. Shit's fucked up already. Shit's fucked up already, man. After that, I don't even know why that was so brutal for me, but I was just so down. I was like, I'm not going to watch the rest of this. Like, I just can't. I can't. I got to take a break. Like, fuck this. Hopped on some Mountain Blade 2, Bannerlord. And for what, really? Just for more pain, more fucking AIDS, ultimately, so. Whatever it was. I had picked Steve. We'll move on. Moving on, though, to Steve Garcia. I did obviously watch the fights later. Steve Garcia versus Sungwoo Choi. I had picked Steve Garcia to win by round 2, KO, TKO, DQ. He won it in round 1. Very calmly. I've been telling people Steve Garcia, the mean machine, lives up to his name and then some. Like, he brutalizes dudes. And he was very low-key before this. People doubted Steve Garcia openly. He was like my secret weapon, my secret pick. Now, not anymore. Everyone's going to know about Steve Garcia. It's already clipped for that. Got it done. Sungwoo Choi just gets clipped. Like, in kind of, not in a surprising fashion that he just was lacking on defense in that manner. And gets put away. Steve Garcia carries nasty power, man. He puts people away really bad. I fuck with Steve Garcia heavy. Keep your eye on him. Moving on to the main event, that was the co-main. I've been getting the co-main and main events, even if I've been having bad weeks. This week and last week, I did shitty on the picks, straight up. But I did get the main and co-main right on both, I believe. And beyond that, I'm on a little streak. At least the main event. Amanda Amandinha Lemos versus Virna Garcara, whatever the fuck they were saying, man. Jandiroba. I didn't know how to say it before. I still don't know how to say it now. I had actually picked Virna to win by decision. I didn't know if she would be able to find the submission. I thought she was going to dog walk Amanda in terms of grappling regardless because of the Weili Zhang fight. I was warning people, MMA math does not always work in my prediction video, in my full-length prediction video, but I based it off MMA math this time. I thought Virna Jandiroba would just be able to control Amanda Lemos, as simple as that. She did, and she was able to find a submission. Good for her. She tried it multiple times, multiple submissions. Wasn't able to get them. Very close. Amanda Lemos isn't like in... She just can't get up. She can get controlled, but she can fight back on the ground. Or at least I should say survive. She can fight for her life on the ground. Virna gets it done. If you are just wondering, we'll recap everything super quickly, just in terms of numbers. So Mo Usman versus Thomas Peterson, starting off 0-1. The one at Carolina, I had her by decision, evened us out. 1-1, Loic Rajabov lost to Trey Ogden by decision. 1-2, Miranda Maverick versus Daoni Barbosa brought us back up, evened us out again. At 2-2, Cody Gibson put me ahead. I had him winning by decision. He obviously had the first round submission. Thank you. Put me up to 3-2. Jung Young Lee got melted. He got nuked, really, on some crazy shit. In round 1. Evened it back up. Jesus Christ. Evened it back up. Fuck, man. I also had Jung Young Lee winning by round 2 KO DQ. Looked like he was going to win like that in round 1, but no. Cope. Moving on, I had Bill Algeo winning. He did not. Moving me down to 3-4. Du Choi KO'd him. Moving on to Cody Durden. Cody Durden also lost. Moving down to 3-5. Got knocked the fuck out by Bruno Silva. Moving on to Kurt Holloway versus Kanan Krachewski, man. Bumps me further down, just kicking me down, man. Beating me the fuck down to 3-6 brutally. And then obviously Steve Garcia and Virna Jandiroba both won. Those were both my picks. So brought it up to 5-6. So not... It could have been worse. It dead could have been worse. It dead could have been worse, but fuck it. Fuck it, ultimately. That was it. I thought it was just a mids card because of... It was decent. We'll say that. Decent enough. Just because of how bizarre it was. Like, the finishes were spectacular. That's what makes it good, obviously. You know, aside from me being salty on picks. Fuck that. No one cares about that. Ultimately, the fights, the main event fights were pretty good. But the prelims were mid as a motherfucker, man. They were like, maliciously mid. There's levels to mid. That was maliciously mid. It was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, all right, now it's over. Like, it was just fucking unfulfilling, not satisfying particularly. There were a couple good ones. They were really Luana Carolina's fight and Miranda Maverick's fight. The Mo Usman shit was pitiful, bro. I don't want to see Mo Usman fight again. That might sound super salty. I'm not trying to see Mo fight again. I'm really not. I don't want to say he's not cut out to fight. Like, he shouldn't be fighting. He's not built for fighting. Because the man's won professional fights in the UFC, but I'll say this. You do not have to be a chef to know if food is bad. Okay? You do not have to be a professional fighter yourself to criticize Mo Usman to a decent extent, you know? Like, Mo looked like dog shit. Looked scared. Looked timid. Look, it was bad, bro. That's a bad loss. That's a bad fucking loss. In a fight that you could have won. That you legitimately could have won if you stood your ground and swung crazy sometimes. Or maybe even just tried to fucking wrestle a little bit besides the times you were gassed and spooked. Subscribe. for more videos, for more content on the way. Looking forward to the 50 subscriber special. It's going to be nice, I can promise you that. Big fight predictions either coming later today, sometime during the night, that would be, or tomorrow for UFC 304 upcoming. Very hyped about that, at least. Those should be gas. Haven't even really fully looked at the card, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be gas. Like the video if you like it. Dislike the video if you dislike it. And let me know why you dislike it. Let me know if you think I'm chatting. If you think I'm just fucking coping, super salty, whatever it is. Leave it down in the comments below, please, and I'll get back to you on that. Let you know if you're chatting or tweaking. Or both. As always, much love. Big kiss.